Jesus, fog of war. Mistakes happen. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Oh, God. How much money was this? Fuck. Thank God nobody died. Yeah, and can't win them all, right, guys? Listen, mistakes happen. In Kuwait, they can pay for it. That's all right. You know, we got $1 trillion. Jesus, guys. Oh, man. It's not looking good.
Oh,
no. U.S. number one. Yeah, guys, for sure. And I guess maybe it seems like Kuwait number one, U.S. number two. Dramatic video of U.S. Air Force falling out of the sky after being targeted by Kuwaiti Air Forces. Jesus. And there, jeez. Fuck, man. And nobody died? Oh, my God. Well, oops. How much is one of these planes? Yeah, how much is one of these? $90 million. So we got you guys 3-0. Yeah, right. Yeah, good shot, guys. And that's an extraordinary claim. So, wow. I don't know if really this is it. Let me go back. I'll pull up some of the other posts about this. So, yeah, there's this. Ah, Jesus, man. This doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? And so they paid for the new ones. I don't know. Jet pilot in Kuwait after an emergency ejection with a fighter jet was shot down in a friendly fire incident. And it looks like everybody is fucking. Dude. Guys, listen, if she's flying the fucking jet and she got shot down by the other guy, it's not because she's a woman. 2 men got shot down too, okay? I think most of the people are joking about this. MAGA incel piece of shit. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun, trying to relax. What is this here, if I can find the other ones here? And, of course, breaking photos, pilots down, ran air defense planes to have been taking a jet out. The U.S. planes to crash was friendly fire. Injuries reported. Yeah, and then here's one more. Let's look at this. Jesus. My tax dollars go to shooting down. Yeah. There's a chance that, don't forget, there's a chance that your tax dollars also could have gone to the Kuwait anti-air defense system that shot down the plane. So you could have paid to shoot down the thing that you paid for. That's possible. So don't underestimate it, huh? Oh my God. It was 1,000% our Patriot system? Who knows? I mean, if it happened over Kuwait, it probably wasn't the Iranians, right? I mean, let's be honest. No, you're trying to fire the pilot ejected safely. Yeah, let's see. Is there that? There it is. Oh, God. They're going to, dude, the communists are going to be reposting this, claiming victory over America for the next week. This is what's so annoying, right? They're going to see this and they're going to be like, see? I knew we were going to. Yeah, oh, wow, we're so amazing. Yeah, this is at least one was killed. I didn't hear that. This is the first time. And, yeah, Iran is going to love this. They are. China's going to repost this. Yeah, new material for IRGC. I don't even know if they have the internet that much over there now. I mean, like, they haven't really been posting much of anything. It's so difficult to not shoot down your own plane. Friendly fire is always real. I mean, shit happens, man. Like, that's why this one looks like a good one. Yeah, oh my God.
Enjoy warm shower. Don't wait until it freezes. Nice plumbing is here to fight it.
I know, yeah, we're going to celebrate this, of course, right? And do all the videos just show jets crashing and the spin? Is it spin by design? I'm assuming the spin actually is by design, so they can maintain the, like, basically so the plane doesn't go down a lot faster. And by the way, I'm making this up. I'm totally making this up. but it would logically make sense that the spin would be by design to prevent it from, going into like an accelerating force down and make it easier for the pilots to eject out of there. Like, that's logically what would make sense. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fucking airplane mate. I don't make airplanes, okay, guys? And let's see if there's any more of these that are that we can look at. But yeah, I did see this got shot. Title yesterday was from Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War. Yeah, definitely. Where is this here? Is an Antichrist tattoo? I have no idea about that. And where is this? The United States conducted this. Oh, we already saw this before. Iran shoots down an American F-15 jet in Kuwait. Told you, by the way, told you that they were going to be doing this. How do you not see? This is like a video game. How do you not see this? Like, I don't, it's real, like, you're actually reposting this. Is this a real person? There's no way this is a real person reposting this. Iran standing alone against the U.S. Oh my God. This is an actual, we have no bases in Iran. Oh my fucking God. These people are out of their mind.
Well, we've just got some breaking news that's coming to us from the Voice of News Agency. They say Iran's Revolutionary Guard said a fuel tanker was burning in the street.
Wow, you set a fuel tanker on fire. That's great. Perfect profile message. Yeah, I don't understand. Like people like this. This is one thing I really think does need to happen. Is that the people that elevate this stuff and push this like narrative, like the fake bullshit, like fake news stuff, I think that they do need to get to trial algorithm. Now I think conspiracy theories. Someone said the difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy is about 6 months. Maybe it's not quite as short as that, but not all conspiracies, okay? Now there is a huge conspiracy out there that some celebrities are clever. Theory and a conspiracy is about 6 months. Maybe it's not quite as short as that, but not all conspiracies, okay? Now there is a huge conspiracy out there that some celebrities are cloned, right? For some whatever reason. I take it like I saw one of Britney Spears, how she's a clone, she's not her. They swapped her out and all this sort of stuff. I take it with a pinch of salt. But when it comes to the main man, Jim Carrey, right? I mean, for me, Jim Carrey, when I was younger especially, he got me out of some seriously, like, dark times as a kid, you know? I basically modeled my personality on him throughout school. My nickname for some people was Jim, and you can probably even tell sometimes when I facial expressions. I get it, it just comes out of me. It's just, that's what it is. He's such a huge influence on my life. So when this came out, I was like, my personality, right? I mean, for me, Jim Carrey, when I was younger especially, he got me out of some seriously, like, dark times as a kid, you know? I basically modeled my personality on him throughout school. My nickname for some people was Jim, and you can probably even tell sometimes when I facial expressions. I get it, it just comes out of me. It's just, that's what it is. He's such a huge influence on my life. So when this came out, I was like, no. Fucking just leave Jim alone, right? So, as you can clearly tell, I'm here to tell you that this version of Jim is Jim. It is Jim Carrey, right? And I'm going to be breaking it down to his face, his eye colour, left and right-handed, his voice, his actions, and also other people have been claiming to be him, who actually went to these Caesar Awards. So, he went to Caesar Awards in Paris. And this is the clip that's absolutely going viral, it's breaking the internet. And I'm telling you, when I say breaking the internet, it's all over the shop, mate. Who the hell is that guy? Fans convinced something is seriously off with viral Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's new French film, which got fans impersonator. Bizarre theory emerges and Jim makes rare appearance. You know, it's all over the shop, and so many people are making videos about it, saying that he's been cloned or it's his body, it's his double, or something like that. I don't know. Now, I know that there's going to be a large amount of people that jump on this, whether they believe it or not. They just go, okay, this is getting traction, this is going to go viral, I need to make a video about this, okay? I'm here to tell you, I'm putting it to fucking bed, okay? I'm putting it to bed.
It's so beautiful. And having me down, me at the point, was also, it's just a brilliant evening, you know? Really brilliant evening. Oh my gosh. Watching all of them was awesome. I mean, I can't believe he committed to doing all that.
Did you experience inappropriate behavior from a bishop, church leader, or member at any LDS church when you were younger?
All that.
That's not Jim Carrey. That is not Jim Carrey. It's not him. It is so glaringly obvious. I feel like everyone has seen, like, the Selena Gomez theory and heard about cloning and heard about all this stuff, and it was always like, that's Jim Carrey. As my favorite actor and comedian of all time, I know that man. I have seen all of his interviews, everything good, know his mannerisms. That is not him. That's not him. Look at his mannerisms in that video. Look at his face. His face is different. The same man who said awards are meaningless, that those people are evil, that all of it's meaningless. I don't know where Jim Carrey is. I'm going to be praying for him, for his safety, because that man, that is not Jim Carrey.
What the fuck is this? So this is supposed to be Jim Carrey? Look at his eye color compared to the imposter. So everybody thinks this is a fake Jim Carrey.
You know? Really brilliant.
Shit.
Oh my gosh.
They're doing this?
Was awesome. I mean, I can't believe he committed to doing all that. I was really someone else. My favorite funny face is the one I'm wearing right now.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Dude, there's no way, right? Like, what is this? I mean, this looks like bullshit, honestly. Like, trying to make Jim Carrey one of the worst psyops in the world. Jim Scary. Jim Scary. Let's rewind. We can't just build this conspiracy theory purely off of the face of Jim Carrey, how it's changed, because that would be silly, right? So the reason why I think a lot of people are suggesting this is because he went through some sort of, like, almost like a transition, sort of like an enlightening moment in his life where he basically said, I give up being Jim Carrey, this character. And then he tries to expose Hollywood with the Illuminati and things like that. This clip, obviously, about him went viral. You don't know what it is. You don't know what that is. I have no idea.
I'm here tonight to blow a bit off and be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and the whole part of it, and it is the all-mocking time. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh, and stuff like that, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on. You know, they get out here in the woods in a circle naked, and they decide these things.
This is the other thing as well that
suggested that he could have been taken, swapped, cloned.
Of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. There's a sinister deep state diabolically plotting to what? Give them health care? There's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join. And here I am. I mean, you got to admit it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating icons. Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibilities.
So he's called out a load of things right there in those videos, and this is what I think why people are suspecting that he's not him anymore. They've changed him, they've swapped him out. And there's many more. There's many other sort of interviews where he just wants so much more of a calm, full life, right? And also, I think that after Sonic, I think it was Sonic 2, he said, "That's it, I quit. I am enough. I've done enough." And he sort of retired.
Well, I'm retired.
Some sort of, says it's really I really like the quiet life, and I really love paint on canvas, and I really love my spiritual life. I feel like
people are dying across the middle right now. At least 555 in Iran, including what may be 165 schoolgirls. 4 American troops are dead. The No More Wars president's telling us there's likely more death to come. And this is the U.S. attacked Iran without congressional authorization, without UN backing it, according to the Pentagon's own closed-door briefings, without intelligence that Iran was about to attack us first. So let's break down what is actually happening, what it's costing, and what comes next. Starting with how it started, right? Because the last chance to avoid this played out on Thursday in Geneva. Because officials told Iran to give up uranium enrichment entirely. For 10 years, Iran's foreign minister said that enrichment was an inalienable right, and Trump envoy Steve Witkoff fired back that the U.S. had an inalienable right to stop them. Right? And then 2 days later, the bomb started falling. See, Iran had been tracking their supreme leader's location for months. When the agency learned that he and some of the country's top military and intelligence officials would all be together above ground at a government compound in central Tehran, timeline changed. Because the U.S. and Israel had actually originally planned to strike at night. This was apparently just too good to pass up. And so at Saturday around 9:40 a.m. local time, long-range missiles hit the compound, killing the man who had ruled Iran since 1989. And he would near simultaneous strikes at 2 other locations, altogether killing some 40 senior figures, including the head of the Revolutionary Guard and defenseman. But then, U.S. Central Command announced Operation Epic Fury, and about an hour later, Trump posted an 8-minute video.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threat from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Trump also claimed that this was necessary because Iran rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and then he told the Iranian people directly,
"When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take."
Then hours later, Trump confirming the Supreme Leader's death, calling him one of the most evil people in history, and saying heavy pinpoint bombing will continue uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as necessary. And the second wave of strikes had actually begun almost immediately after the attack on the Supreme Leader, targeting Iran's air defense, especially surface-to-air missile batteries guarding the capital. By midday Sunday, Israel said that it had achieved air supremacy, with a former Israeli Air Force commander putting it bluntly, saying Iran right now is totally exposed to airstrikes. It's only for U.S. forces and the Israeli Air Force to decide where, when, and how. And on the next wave, they went after Iran's ballistic missile systems, munitions, launchers, crews, storehouses, production sites, and with Israel deploying 200 fighter jets in what it called its largest air operation. history. As far as how it was divided, you had Israel taking Western Iran and the U.S. taking the East. And you also had Trump targeting Iran's Navy, posting, I've just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval ships in Dadik. We're going after the rest. They will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea also. The U.S. and Israel also strike dozens of military command centers, including the main IRGC headquarters. With CENTCOM posting, the IRGC killed more than 1,000 Americans over the past 47 years. Yesterday, a large-scale U.S. strike cut off the head of the snake. And so with all this, as of recording, you have the Iranian Red Crescent Society reporting that the attacks on 131 cities have killed at least 555 people. The most horrific attack we've heard about so far apparently happened on Saturday, with Iranian state media reporting that U.S.-Israeli strikes at a girls' school killing 165 people, mostly children. You also had the New York Times verifying videos and images showing at least half the school destroyed. They're being reported that the schools next to a Revolutionary Guard naval base, and footage shows emergency workers and families dig through the rubble littered with school books and bags covered in blood and ash. As far as Iran, they're not just kind of absorbing this quietly. They've been hitting back at Israel and the Arab Gulf states that are hosting U.S. forces, and the damage, I mean, it's already spreading across the entire region. Right, this weekend, you had Iran striking a base in Kuwait housing American troops, killing 3 Army soldiers and a supplies and logistics unit. 5 more were seriously wounded. Several others sustained shrapnel injuries, concussions. And actually today, you had a 4th American confirmed dead after dying from wounds from Iran's initial attacks. You also had a missile strike on an Israeli city, killing at least 9, injuring 27, bringing Israel's total death toll to 11. That's reporting. Hezbollah has also begun launching rockets and drones towards Israel overnight. Israel also responding by striking dozens of targets in Beirut, southern Lebanon, killing at least 31 and injuring 149. You also have an Israeli official saying that the military has launched an offensive in Lebanon that could include, quote, many prolonged days of combat ahead, with all options on the table for a ground operation. Then also had an Iraqi Shiite militia claiming a drone attack on U.S. troops at Baghdad's airport, though there were no reported casualties. And then you had the Pentagon revealing that 3 U.S. fighter jets went down over Kuwait in an apparent friendly fire incident late last night. Though reportedly all 6 aircrew ejected safely and they're in stable condition. But even all of that, right? How many and that's going to happen? Even all of that, it doesn't capture the full scope here. As far as the regional fallout in Syria, and an Iranian missile likely meant for Israel killed 4 people. Kuwait, beyond the base attack, a drone hit an airport, debris struck an oil refinery, and smoke was seen rising from the U.S. Embassy this morning. 1 killed, 32 injured overall, and then in the UAE, 3 dead, 58 wounded, with drone debris setting an airport and a 5-star hotel on fire. Then in Bahrain, right, home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet, they say they intercepted 61 missiles and 34 drones, but shrapnel from 1 killed at least 1 person, and some strikes got through entirely, hitting buildings in the naval base. Also, Qatar says that it intercepted attacks targeting civilian infrastructure, including its international airport. And as all of this is playing out, there's also an economic ripple effect that you're seeing that's massive. But a Qatari state-owned energy company, one of the world's top LNG suppliers, halted production, sending European gas prices surging as much as 54%. You also had a drone hitting an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman, killing 1 crew member. A major Saudi refinery was targeted production halting there despite reportedly limited damage. You then had the IRGC claiming 3 attacks on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, which handles about 1/5 of the world's traded oil. Regarding oil prices rose nearly 10% today, and they could keep climbing. You've also got shipping companies diverting vessels around Africa to avoid the Suez Canal. They're updating hundreds of thousands of travelers stranded as mass cancellations hit some of the busiest airports in the world. And in Pakistan, 22 people were killed trying to storm the U.S. consulate. Right? So then with all that, there is the question of, well, what is the White House actually saying about why this was necessary? Well, on Sunday, Pentagon officials reportedly acknowledging in closed-door congressional briefings that there was no intelligence suggesting that Iran planned to attack American forces first. Instead, their argument was that Iran's ballistic missiles and proxy forces posed an imminent threat to the U.S. interest. With that, Trump has claimed Iran would soon be able to strike the United States with a ballistic missile, though he provided zero evidence. Sources say that his claims aren't backed by U.S. intelligence, and experts and official reports both push back on the idea that Iran's missiles could reach the United States. And then you also had Trump telling reporters they weren't willing to stop their nuclear research. They weren't willing to say they will not have a nuclear weapon. Very simple, but there's actually no credible evidence Iran was actively building a nuclear weapon. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency has said that Iran doesn't have a weapons program, and America's own intelligence backs that up. With all that said, right, there's the question of, well, what comes next? This has happened. It is currently happening.
Whataburger Monterey Melt is back? You've got stump nerves showing up with your all-beef patties, grilled peppers, and jalapeno ranch. No, we just missed you, that's all. Whataburger Monterey Melt is back. Download the app. What a burger!
What's your favorite app right now?
I don't know. Let me check.
Wait, that's an Android?
Yeah, I love it because I'm an Android user.
What's your favorite app right now?
This app is called TikTok Lite.
Wait, so what's the difference between TikTok Lite and TikTok? Is it the things that TikTok can?
Yeah, it's like TikTok, baby.
How long is this going to last? And there you had Trump telling reporters.
And we have, right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks. but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it.
He's also acknowledged more than once that more American casualties are expected. Say it.
And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible but that won't be the case.
On the question of, what replaces the current regime, you had Trump saying he'd like Iranians to rise up, but there's no guarantee that successors would govern any different. He also reportedly floated several competing ideas for how power could transfer, including keeping the existing structure in place, with leaders more subservient to U.S. interests. He also talked about applying the Venezuela model, even as advisors have told him that the cultural and historical differences make that nearly impossible. And then also, Trump said he has 3 very good choices for who could lead Iran, though he wouldn't say who they are. And for now, what's left of the Iranian regime is reportedly said to choose a new supreme leader any day. But in the meantime, we're left to wonder what happens from here. Reportedly, hundreds of civilians are dead, including kids. You have 4 American service members so far dead. The entire region appears to be stabilizing. You've got constantly shifting public justification for why this happened, with the evidence not seeming to support most of it. Well, obviously, we're all hoping for whatever the best outcome is here. That the president's exit strategy appears to be hoping that a country of 8 million people spontaneously overthrow its government and also installs leaders that we approve of. But then also, with our No More Wars president starting another war in the Middle East, we need to talk about the fallout that's splitting both parties and exposing fault lines that really reduce the midterm. Republicans in general are cheering regime change. Democrats in general can't agree on how to push back. Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're blaming Israel. And someone just made $500,000 betting on the Supreme Leader's death. Right, so let's get into it. Starting with on the right, the message is simple. This was a win. Right, with that, you had Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth framing the strikes as a necessary response to Iran targeting the U.S. military and interests around the world. Right, Hegseth also added that, while this isn't officially a regime change war, the regime will be changing, and that's a good thing.
Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel.
You also had Senator Lindsey Graham taking it further in the press.
I don't know if this is technically a war, but here's what I can say the headline is for me Sunday. The mothership of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead. The largest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran, is close to collapsing.
But then when pressed on what comes next, Graham insisting that the U.S. won't be choosing Iran's next leader, and there are no plans for boots on the ground.
But it's not his job or my job to do this. How many times do I have to tell you? Our job is to make sure Iran is no longer the largest state sponsor of terrorism, to help the people reconstruct a new government, no boots on the ground.
And then on the other side of the aisle, with the Democrats,
I'm waiting for y'all to join, bitch. I can't do it by myself.
Defending the strikeout, right? Like Ohio Representative Greg Landsman. You also have others like Senator Mark Kelly trying to thread the needle, agreeing that the world is safer with the Supreme Leader dead. The warning, hope is not a strategy. You've got to have a plan. What is the strategic goal and how to be achieved? Right? California Governor Gavin Newsom and Pennsylvania Governor John Shapiro, they struck kind of a similar tone, condemning the Iranian regime while also slamming the administration. Then also, you've got Democrats with foreign tension. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accused Trump of lying to the American people and making a deliberate choice of aggression when diplomacy and security were within reach. You also had Senator Bernie Sanders calling the war unconstitutional and a violation of international law, and saying we must not allow Trump to force us into another war. So with that, very likely that the next concrete move comes later this week. Both the Senate and the House expected to vote on resolutions requiring Trump to take Russian troops for taking additional military action in Iran. War powers resolution was actually passed under Vietnam, specifically to protect President war-making powers. It's clear, and that's in addition to the Constitution already requiring Congress to approve any declaration. For this vote, it's about enforcing. So with all this, you have Representative O'Connor calling for every lawmaker to go on the record with their vote, but he's also being honest about the message. O'Connor admits that this resolution is very unlikely to pass. He argues that something has to be done to at least attempt to rein it in. But also, I think for a lot of people watching, this feels a little like too little, too late. And also, part that's hard to ignore is that a core piece of Trump's platform is full election. There's no more war. That's why if you hop online, you see just so many people compiling clip after clip of Trump accusing Obama of planning to attack Iran to save face or project help. The irony, the hypocrisy, whatever you want to call it, it is not subtle. And actually, one of the loudest voices pointing that out is Candace Owens.
We need a pretext for war, like we always need a pretext. We're constantly bombing and killing people all the time. We're committing a Holocaust in Gaza. Could you just go out there and tell if they were building a nuclear bomb? They weren't. And there's been no evidence of that outside of Bibi Netanyahu's trust me, bro, because I guess you have to come up with something to make people hysterical to believe that we have this never-ending right to murder human beings in the Middle East, to use American soldiers to effect regime changes in the Middle East at the benefit of no one but Israel.
You also have Marjorie Taylor Greene and agreeing to call it war with Iran, America last, right? Americans are once again coming home in flag-draped coffins from another stupid, pointless foreign war from foreign regimes on behalf of Israel. And then also turning to Laura Loomer, praised the American soldiers killed in action this weekend and applauded their families. And Reed's response was just scorching, calling Loomer this bitch who's celebrating the death of American military members and added, sign up for the military, Laura. Go to the front lines, Laura. You don't love trumping up unless you go fight Iran yourself. Which, just to add context for the normies out there that don't live and breathe this, Marjorie Taylor Greene going after Laura Loomer, right? These are, I mean, you used to think two of Trump's most devoted supporters now publicly going after one another over a war that Trump started, right? That by itself, as well as, the things we've covered over the last year, it tells you something about how deep these fractions run. And then, on top of all of that, there's a part of this story that feels like it belongs, I don't know, in a different timeline, but it isn't. Polymarket reportedly saw roughly $530 million in contracts tied to the Iran strike. Some of the activity, it sparked a serious red flag. You've got Bloomberg reporting that 6 accounts made around $1 million each, betting every week. Most were freshly created that month, and all of them only ever placed bets on strike-related contracts. Some even purchased shares just hours before the news. See, Bloomberg noting that these are hallmarks that blockchain analysts associate with insider trading. Then also, there's a trader called Mega My Man who made over $500,000 betting specifically on the Supreme Leader's ousting death. Then over on Calci, there was a different situation playing out, but with a twist, because that platform had bets on whether the Supreme Leader would be out of power. But once his death was confirmed, people who bet yes, they didn't get paid. So with that, you had Calci CEO explaining, we don't list markets directly tied to death. When there are markets where potential outcomes involve death, we design the rules to prevent people from profiting from death. So Calci is refunding fees and paying out based on flash created prices for the death of the announcement. Still, the outrage hasn't died down. We had Senator Chris Murphy saying, sane, it's legal. The people around Trump are profiting on war and death. I'm introducing legislation ASAP to ban. With all that said, I'd now like to kind of turn the tables. I'd love to hear from you, those comments, whether it be about the strike itself, the Democratic response, the Israel angle, the Polymarket scandal, any and all. And let me hear from you in those comments down below, especially because, at least on YouTube, I have now the ability to respond with audio, so I'm going to be testing that out over the next 24 hours. And then, what we've got to dive into just a little bit. First, let me thank a sponsor and say, raise your hand if you've been meaning to book a doctor's appointment for, like 6 months now? Whether it be dental cleaning, a checkup, or weird things, pending, probably nothing. All of it. That's what today's sponsor, ZocDocs, and sometimes free and money. By ZocDocs. Then, diving right back into we need to talk about how 3 mass violence events happened in 12 hours this week. With a shooting in Austin now being investigated as terrorism, a mass shooting at a Cincinnati music venue, and a fatal stabbing spree on a D.C. highway. So starting with Austin, early Sunday morning, with a gunman opening fire outside of Cooper's backyard beer garden on 6th Street, which is one of the most popular nightlife strips in Austin, right near the University of Texas campus.
PFAS, the forever chemicals, invisible, persistent, and hiding in the water you trust. PFAS accumulate in the body over time. Not on our watch. Reverse osmosis filtration is the most effective way to remove PFAS. WaterDrop's multi-stage filtration effectively reduces PFOA and PFOS, making PFAS reduction easier than ever. Precision at 0.0001 microns. The eco-friendly choice for a healthier lifestyle. Widely praised by 2 million American families.
Police identifying the shooter as Diaga Diani. Investigators say that he circled the block multiple times, stopped in front of the bar, turned down the magic, and started shooting at people on the patio and sidewalk. He then reportedly drove further down the street, parked, walked back towards the bar, and opened fire again on foot. And then, because it was already a heavy police presence in the area, the officers were able to intercept him before he could do more damage. And ultimately, you had 3 dead, 2 bystanders and the shooter, as well as 14 others being injured critically, and some of the victims were UT Austin. And also, here's where the story kind of gets bigger. The shooter reportedly wore a hoodie that read property of Allah and a t-shirt with the Iranian flag. He also, according to reports, had been posting about support for the Iranian regime and hatred for Israeli and American leadership since 2017. And the authorities also said that they found items in his car that raised even more.
He's got to put us in service, dude. They're going to raid him.
Determine an exact motivation, but there were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism. Since it's a matter of looking at it as a potential matter of terrorism, obviously the Joint Terrorism Task Force
is engaged. In terms of specifically what type of terrorism, we're just at this point prepared to say that it was potentially an act of terrorism.
Now, is there any more background? You have reports saying that the shooter first entered the U.S. bound on a tourist visa, became then a lawful permanent resident after marrying a U.S. citizen, and was naturalized in 2013. And with all this, you had Texas Governor Greg Abbott releasing a statement calling it an act that will not define us and warning that Texas will respond with decisive and overwhelming force against anyone who tries to use the Middle East conflict to threaten the state. Right, all in all, this is actually the biggest mass shooting in Austin in 60 years, which is also why you had, at least as reporting, many people wondering why the president hasn't addressed it. For that brings us to Cincinnati, where around 1 a.m. on Sunday, just hours before Austin, shots were fired inside of Riverfront Live, a music venue in Cincinnati that was hosting an event. Here, 9 people were injured, 1 critically, 5 were in stable condition at UC Medical Center, 2 were released, 1 was treated and released in another hospital.
We do not have any further information on the victims or what started this or any information on the suspect or suspects at this time.
Now with this, you had a witness who started hearing shots that had been paused, followed by screaming and running, saying that she wanted to get out of harm's way, but didn't know where the harm was actually coming from. You also had Cincinnati Mayor Pureball thanking the first responders, but also being blunt about a bigger problem.
Our laws make it so easy to get a gun in our community that a lot of people have guns. Coupled with the fact that they refuse to deal with disagreements peacefully, to the extent that they not only refuse to